Welcome to the NJC's 10-minute takeaway, where we will try and cram in as much information as we can into a 10-minute workshop. I'm Tom Stenson, audit trainer and head of training for the NJC. And today I'm joined by David Allen, who's an ADI trainer and event coordinator for the Birmingham Driving Instructors Association. Thanks for joining us, David.
Thank you, Tom.
In today's topic, we will be discussing the benefits of joining a local association. So our 10 minutes starts now. So what are, in your opinion, David, what are the benefits of people joining a local association?
Well, being an ADI can sometimes be a bit isolating.
Yeah.
Feel like you're on your own, feel like there's nobody there to help and stuff like that. Where an association is basically just a group of ADIs that decide, to set up a local association. Let's take you a couple of examples. There's Birmingham approved driving instructors called BADIs for short. We're not the baddies, by the way. We are the goodies. Okay, and there's another one called Safe Staffs ADIs as well, which is run by somewhere called Richard and Gilly. So and there's one called the Waddies, isn't there, as well? So
Yeah.
there's the baddies, the saddies, and the Waddies. So yeah, so it's but yeah, the main reasons to join one is everybody helps each other. You can organise meetings, or we do monthly meetings at Baddies. I know some associations do like every 2 months and stuff like that, and those meetings can get you together, have a little bit of a chin wag, have a coffee and a tea, just talk a moan and a groan about certain things in our industry, and also then to have a speaker probably arranged for that month that can talk about a subject of their choice, which is quite interesting. And I know the ones from the DVSA are very, very popular examiners, especially ADI examiners, especially when you're talking about standards checks and ADI Part 3s and tests and things like that. So yeah, it's a good idea. It's a really good idea to get together to use everybody's distinctiveness and and different skills. And then it's just then organising sort of the committee and stuff like that. So yeah, they're a good idea.
And especially for me, I've always found them quite good for all of the purposes you've just said, but also just networking with other ADIs and other trainers. We have our local one, which you've mentioned, Waddy. And yeah, I always find sort of the networking that we get through those is pretty good. Do you find that with some of the ones that you attend as well?
Yeah, you can. When I sometimes I get some fleet companies that approach me and say we want trainers to work in a certain area. Yeah, you can share that out to your members that they've got like a certain contract they can work for and stuff like that. So networking is a wonderful thing. Also as well, I mean, you can also you got a pupil that you can't sort of take on because they've like say manual and automatic, and you do automatic in their manual, and an area don't cover. You can share it with the other members as well, so they benefit. And then they share their pupils they can't cover there as well. So, and then I know some groups actually do test swapping as well. They test swap because then you know who you're sharing with. Because sometimes it can be a bit fraught with danger. Some of the other groups I've seen that you don't know who you're sharing with. You know if you're going to keep that test or not. So you know you're sharing with somebody that you know and you probably met in a meeting, or you can probably trust as well. So yeah.
Yeah, our local association, we've got a Facebook group, and a reasonable amount goes on with that. Of somebody saying, actually, I've got a test or a pupil on test, but they need to move it. Has anybody else got anything available? But we've also had people who've had incidents with their cars, and they've said, is anybody else, can they take my pupil next week, or I'm ill and I can't do this. So I think those are some of those benefits as well. And the bit that you mentioned at the start, where ADIs and PDIs, I think, can often find this job quite lonely. So it gives that little bit of an outlet, doesn't it, for people to be able to share ideas or share networking, or just go and have a chat with a local ADI and moan about the DVSA, or I mean, moan about anybody.
Yeah, so yeah, you're right about PDIs because they're new to the industry. There's not much that they do know. They don't know the choices, what they can actually do, and how things go about. I mean, I've had somebody contact me just recently about they're gonna do their 40 hours to get their training license, but then they're going to leave them. And I did ask them, have you got the ADI 21T signed yet? I went, what's that? Says that's what you need to get your training license. I think it's a good idea to get that before you decide to leave. Okay, so just simple little advice like that, or advice on ADI Part 3s and standards checks, what sort of things they can help. Because some things are just very, very simple. Some things are like, can I stop for more than 3 minutes and things like that, on a standards check? Well, yes, if it's meaningful and it's necessary. Okay. And how that, and it's just updates within the industry, because a lot of people, things change and they don't sometimes know, or it gets distorted from other people. Well, at least from my association and so stuff, so you can get information sourced from the right people. Like, in other words, well, because baddies are also a member of the group are a member of the ADINJC, and they our members then can join the ADINJC as a premier member, and then they will get represented if they ever get into difficulties or something like that. So they got that help as well. So that's one of the other main benefits of being a member of our association. You get your premier membership a little bit cheaper through the ADIJC. So yeah.
And if they're a group member, they get it half price. So actually, being a member of a local association who's a group of ours, then I think you've got some huge benefits as well, because then you've got the ADINJC in that background as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned that you have regular meetings. You said once a month, I think. So what are the types of things you cover in those meetings?
Well, I'm the event coordinator now, so that's my basically role. But yeah, it's things. Let's take an example like this year. The first meeting of the year was with an ex DVS examiner, and he was talking about like what to do on a standards check in Part 3, like this pre-scripted like risk statement. They don't want to hear that because the examiners keep on hearing it all the time. Okay, so they don't want to hear things like that. So that was the first one. The second one was a gentleman called Chris Venstead. He was talking about was it the ADI Collective or something like that, and he was talking about all different things within the history and his specialism is like getting people through tests who have difficulties. So, and then other meetings are basically like, most of them are actually continuous professional development, or CPD for short, on different areas, how to improve your instruction, how to think, or how to basically to run a business better. Because we got Stuart Lockerbie coming on one of the Zoom meetings, and he's talking about running businesses and stuff like that, so you can run your business better with like terms, conditions, and setting your lesson price correctly and stuff like that. And if you're going to set up a franchise and take on instructors, like advice on that as well, what the best thing to do with that one. So it's just this networking and this gulf of information. And the wonderful thing about an association is the members. It's the members that are the reason why I like to be there. I mean, we gave one of our members last year, Barham, we gave him member of the year because the catering was not being done by the person that normally does it. And he just come in and just bought all the catering, and he pays for it himself as well. We keep on saying, Barham, stop doing it. We can give you the money. And because of his commitment, and he went to every single meeting, and he makes everybody welcome when he comes in. He always gets the speaker or whoever's running the meeting a cup of tea as well. And he's just so friendly. And it's those members that make that association so important. Their commitment, and they're willing to help as well, and then realizing that being together is a lot stronger than being an individual. So yeah.
And I know from our local association, I think the more that the members put into it, the more everybody gets out of it as well. Because I think it's sort of that collective, isn't it? Where, if we're same as driving lessons, the more our learners put into it, hopefully the more they're going to get out.
Exactly. So yeah, and different.
Sorry, I was going to say, I suppose one of the questions that does tend to come up then, what does it normally cost to join a local association?
Well, I know ours. There's different pay structures. There's ours is £30 for the whole year, and that entitles to every meeting that you can think of. Apart from if we have special, like expensive, like sort of continuous professional evening. So the £30 pays for everything. It allows you to join the WhatsApp group or WhatsApp groups that we got. We've got test swapping groups. We got a PDI dedicated group just for PDI as well, and we've got the normal group as well. And also, as I said, it allows you to come to every meeting that we have, to attend it as well. So, and then obviously you can speak to the committee, and you're a member. Then you're going to be helped and treated like a member, because we have to. The money has to go to like meeting rooms as well. So like we have to book meeting rooms, and sometimes we have to pay for the expenses for speakers to come down as well. So they might pay mileage, and then as I said, if we have to pay, sometimes they're paid for evenings where we have to pay for the training because it's dedicated training and stuff like that. So, but different associations. I mean, BADI's all about CPD. I mean, I know Safe Staffs. They're wonderful, by the way. They're great. They're a social group. They have social meetings and stuff like that. Went to their one of their dinners the other day in Wolverhampton. That was fun as well. So they're more social. So they probably cater for more to people to the social side. So every group is different in different ways. So it's good to be a member of a few different local associations actually, because you get the best of all worlds then. So yeah.
I mean, ours locally, as you mentioned, that we have a couple of events a year which are just sort of social events for ADIs and PDIs to be able to sort of just go and relax. And although we say don't talk about work, most people talk about work because
can't help it.
that's what instructors do. But yeah, we then have those CPD events as well. So we are now at the end of our time because the 10 minutes runs quite quickly. So can I just say thank you very much for joining us on our 10-minute takeaway today.
Been a pleasure. Thank you. Been a pleasure.
If anybody would like to know anything more about your local association, please drop an email to us at the NJC and we'll be glad to try and help you out.